Welcome back to Cox Connections, exclusively on Cox 9 Roanoke. I'm Kim Stanley. Chances are you've heard of Goodwill Industries of the Valley. If you're thinking about thrift store, listen up. There's much more to this story. The nonprofit helps people of all abilities overcome barriers to employment so they can achieve independence and better quality of life. Vice President of Marketing and Development, Jim Shaver, and Business Services Director Ruth Rice join us now to tell us more about Goodwill Industries of the Valleys. Thank you both for coming in today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, Kim.
Good to have you. Jim, why don't you talk to us about Goodwill Industries of the Valley? So often we think of it as just being that thrift store, but there's so much more that you guys do.
The Goodwill Industries of the Valleys is a very large operation from a geographical standpoint, which gives us the opportunity to serve many different kinds of clients. Our territory goes from Harrisonburg, the north, all the way down the Interstate 81 corridor to Wytheville. We're also in Charlottesville. We're in Lynchburg, Southside Virginia, Martinsville. We don't have Danville as part of our territory. We operate 31 stores, I'm sorry, in that area, including 2 that we just opened. One in just above Charlottesville and Ruckersville, Greene County, and then the new one in Daleville and Botetourt County just the last month. So the stores provide the base for the revenue. 60-some% of the total revenue of our operation comes from those stores. We use that to serve different kinds of clients: youth, senior citizens, dislocated workers, and then of course the physical and mentally challenged people that we serve and have served over the years, who work in some of the work centers where Ruth oversees and finds work and employment from different businesses in the community.
So you mentioned 66% comes from the stores, and their materials come from the community.
From the community. We are blessed with the number of donations that we receive. Even with the economy being the way it has been in the last couple of years, our donations continue to increase. We had a rough time this winter like everybody else did because of the weather. But in the regular times, our donation stream continues to increase, and that's why we continue to open more stores. And every time we open a store, that's 15 more new jobs for that community. So it works out very nicely.
Yeah, and something that you mentioned just now that was somewhat, I guess, news to me is that it's not just helping people with disabilities. I mean, you are really helping everyone in our community. I mean, you mentioned youth, you mentioned senior citizens, so it's really helping everyone.
Right. Yeah. And the population that Ruth serves has the opportunity to work for industries in our community to provide a labor source to them, and she can explain that.
Okay, Ruth, why don't you tell us about this group that you oversee?
Some of the individuals that we serve, we want to provide work opportunities so that they can contribute to the community. And some of the work opportunities include assembling of hardware kits. We separate and recycle hangers for a uniform company. We assemble diabetic kits for a medical company, and we also do media kits for a laboratory company in the New River Valley. We assemble corrugated shipping boxes.
Do you know about how many workers you have out there placed in these different organizations?
Well, currently we have in New River, we have about 18 people that are off-site. And here locally, we have about 16 that are off-site, but within our own walls, we have 75 individuals that we serve on a daily basis.
That's great.
And that's in the Roanoke facility. So.
Okay.
We actually do the custodial work for the Paul Federal Building here in Roanoke and have a crew there that cleans it every day, and that's a contract we've had for several years. And there are other federal contracts and community contracts that Ruth oversees as well. That's
great. That's really great. So let's go back to the stores. How do the stores help to achieve the Goodwill mission?
It provides employment first. There are the people who actually work in the stores, and I always tell our new employees, when you work for Goodwill, you're actually earning 2 paychecks. You're earning a paycheck for yourself and a paycheck for someone else who's being able to work and get the money. So what the stores do is they take the employees in, Then the money from the store, some of the money from the stores goes back to support some of the programs that we do.
Okay.
And we have a variety of streams of revenue. As we have said, the stores are the largest. The revenue from Ruth's operation, contract work is another revenue stream. And then through our workforce development, WIA programs that we have through the workforce centers, there are federal grants through the Department of Labor from which we receive money as well. The stores are also a huge recycling effort for us. Last year, Goodwill Industries of the Valleys kept 11 million pounds of refuse out of the landfills in the area we serve because of the recycling we do of the materials, selling them into stores, and then recycling what we don't sell and selling it to salvage companies.
That's great.
So it's a huge recycling effort as well as a huge retail effort.
Right. It just sounds like a big circle. I mean, you guys just have everything connected. It's truly phenomenal. How would a business, how do they contact you about getting labor or helping in any way?
Well, we have a main contact that they can call, and his name is Van Gresham, and he can be reached at 581-0620.
Okay, all right, that's great. Anything else about Goodwill before we close out? It's just such a great organization.
I think that the public needs to understand that we see work as a component to a healthy community. We're an economic development nonprofit. We're also a family, a strengthening, family supportive nonprofit. We think that if a person is employed, the entire family structure, the entire community structure is stronger. We believe that we have programs that help people stay off of public assistance, people we can move into the workforce. Last year, we served over 32,000 people, many of those dislocated workers, people who have lost their jobs throughout this region I previously described.
Wow, that's phenomenal. And I have to agree with you. I think that when you can help people work, it just gives them the confidence in themselves, you know, to get back out there, to be engaged in something daily and feel good about themselves. Right. And I just applaud you for this and for the time commitment that you put into it and all that you do for the community. It's just, we have a lot of great organizations here in Roanoke, and Goodwill Industries of the Valley is one of those.
Thank you very much.
Jim, thank you. Ruth, thank you for joining us. Coming up after the break, phishing is a scam lurking in your email inbox. When we come back, our internet security expert will tell you how to keep your private information private.